I want to talk about IR illuminators on sniper rifles. I'm not talking about IR lasers. I'm not talking about visible lasers. I'm talking about infrared illuminators. Right? If you're going to run night vision on your rifle, your precision rifle, for example, in the Joff or Fallujah, why are you running night vision? Well, duh, it's so I can find bad guys in the dark and so I can mix metal and meat together. Right now, sometimes looking around at night, your windows, there's still shadows at night. You got moonlight coming in. Sometimes it's hard to see into those shadows. It's hard to see through windows. Sometimes there's just not enough starlight or moonlight to illuminate the areas that you need to see. Now, I'm not saying to use a IR illuminator all the time, especially if there's the threat that the enemy has night vision. However, use randomly, sporadically, push button on off. You can use that IR illuminator to quickly illuminate an area to identify it, to clear it real quick, then I turn my illuminator off. What it's giving you is an extra reach with that optic, with your night vision, where without that illuminator, you may only be able to get 300-400 meters. With the illuminator, now I'm able to see 500 or 600, sometimes 700 meters with that illuminator. If you're gonna use it on the rifle, don't set it up for a wide beam, don't set it up for a really narrow beam. Set it up so that here's your point of aim. You want your illuminator with that point of aim low in the circle, and you want your beam above it. You want your beam wide enough so that it covers max ordnance of your round. Why would you do that? I'm gonna get to that here in just a second. You have it zeroed like that, and that is now my very strong spotlight that I can search. Now, the advantage that it now provides is now I can find targets, but there's also an additional advantage. The reason why we never used night vision before, decades ago, Vietnam, post-Vietnam, was for sniping, you just could not see well enough to identify friend or foe. Okay, night vision's got a little bit better, PVS-4, even the PVS-2 gave you a little bit more distance. However, for shooting long distances, there are two things you could not do that a sniper needs to be able to do, is you could not read winds and you could not see trace. Seeing winds now, our optics have gotten so clear. If you're running a good Gen 3 tube, you're actually seeing the grass move out there. You're watching the green Shia flags start blowing back and forth. You're watching the trash blow up and down the streets. You can use those signs and you can roughly guesstimate what the wind is. You run that Kestrel wind meter where you're at right here. The wind's blowing basically the same downrange at the same rough angle. I can get in the ballpark with my wind call. What does that leave? That now leaves reading trace. My spotter needs to be able to read trace in the dark. We couldn't do that before with our old long range ammo. The old 118 was 173 grain, and while it had a boat tail, it had a solid nose and the jacket was pulled back from the tip. And you had a little lead dot on the back. However, one of the advantages of switching to the 118 LR, it's 175 grain Sierra Match King. Weight-wise, does not really matter. It's an accurate round, but the added benefit it gives us for shooting at night is because it's a Sierra Match King, the back of my slug is now shiny copper. Now, when I turn on my illuminator, my spotter watching with his night vision device, when I pull the trigger and this bullet starts flying down range, yes, it's flying 2,600 feet per second. However, it is climbing slowly and it's going down slowly. My spotter watching from the back will actually see my illuminator reflect off the shiny copper, and it literally looks like you're watching a moth in the headlight of a car. It is actually easier to see trace in the dark past about 300 meters in the dark with that illuminator on than it is to see it during the day in a high wind situation. All right, so it gives us a great capability that it really wasn't designed for, but it works great. Why do I need to see trace? Here's why. You bring your crosshairs up, you've got a target that's, let's say he's inside the window, 2 blocks outside the mosque in the Najaf. He's standing there in the window, you pull the trigger, and the guy goes down inside the room. You're ready to high five. If you hit him, yes, he goes down inside the room. However, if you missed him, he still goes down inside the room. Why? Because a bullet just came by his head and hit the wall next to him. Of course he went down inside the room. However, if you got your illuminator turned on and your spotter's watching, when you shoot, bullet still runs down range, except now your spotter's seeing that moth in the headlights. He sees that you just missed the guy by about 6 inches, passed right behind his head or just to the left or to the right. You see him go down in the room because your gun bucked. You're ready to reach over and high five your spotter. However, your spotter goes, miss, dumbass, same window, hold, 1/4 mil right. And you get back on target, you make your correction, and you wait. Chances are Knuckle Nuts is gonna go, holy cow, what was that? And his head's gonna come back up in the same window. Been there, done that, seen it happen. It works. Right, so it's great additional capability for using the illuminator. Right, if you're in that high threat situation and you think the enemy might have night vision, hold and don't turn the illuminators on until we actually start that assault countdown. I have control, stand by. At that point, you can turn on your illuminators, and if you've got 5 sniper teams around that target, and there's 3 sentries outside, all teams may be watching that same guy while the other 2 walk around. However, if at the start of the countdown, all the sniper teams turn on their illuminators, the teams will see, wow, we're all covering this one guy. And without you even having to touch the radio, guys will switch and cover the other guys. Seen it happen, it works. All right, so to say we're never gonna use illuminators because the bad guys have nods is you're selling yourself short and you're taking away a great capability that we have that the enemy doesn't, right? So if you're gonna run night vision on your long guns, you need to be running an IR illuminator.